Hi guys, this is January's to read shelf as it stands currently. I am sorry if I'm at a bit of a weird angle. I have been in the process for quite a while of redecorating my bathroom, so there's stuff all over my bedroom floor at the moment. Not quite sure that my camera is exactly straight, but there's planks of wood to the right hand side of me, there's still Christmas presents in front of me, and I'm squashed in a corner. I hope everyone had a great Christmas and New Year or whatever you celebrate. I didn't get as many books as I wanted, surprisingly enough. I think too many people have been looking at my room. But it's all good, it's fine. We will move past that and buy the books ourselves, I guess. I haven't done a currently reading for quite a while. I don't think. I had quite a few books that were good. They were also long books, and I was off my work sick as well, so I ended up reading The Stand by Stephen King, weirdly enough. That was quite interesting. I was off my work for like 3 weeks and I read it in 8 days. I was quite shocked. 1,000-page hardback or something like that. I was like, I'm not taking this into my work. My voice is still a little rough. I had a really nasty cough, which is still a little bit lingering, but I've managed to get back to my work, thankfully, after 3 sick lines, 1 set of antibiotics. But this is this month's currently reading. This week, I wish. There's a few books on here that I've been looking at, and I'm not sure if this is going to be a very successful shelf. I think it might be over and done with quite quickly, but we'll see. I don't know, I don't think it was in my last shelf. They were coming up and I didn't have time to film because I was feeling so sick. But I was reading the Twisted Tales Disney series and the Disney Villains series as well. They tend to be like by Liz Braswell and Serena Valentino. I've read a couple of their books before, but this is just, I don't know what it is. It's really not appealing to me. I'm just not getting it at the moment. It's really just not good at all. They've been very hit and miss, so I've been putting the reviews of the ones I really don't like on Amazon and Goodreads, because a lot of them are getting, oh, amazing, absolutely best book ever, and I'm like, what the hell were you reading that I wasn't? But let's get into it. I've still got one other on this shelf that I want to read, and then there's another one, and I think there's another one out in April as well of this series. So the first book I have, quite unrelated to the previous series that I was just talking about, but this is The Curse of Maleficent, The Tale of Sleeping Beauty. Disney is a gorgeous hardback book, as you can see there. Really nice detailing. Probably not going to take me too long to read. It's got quite a lot of nice colour photos inside it, as you can see. A lot of text, but there's another double page spread, part 3 there. Quite a nice book. It's got lovely designs on it actually. I'm trying to not break the spine, which can be done with hardbacks, but sometimes you don't want to ruin them, you know. So it says it's adapted by Elizabeth Rudnick, illustrated by Nicholas Cole. So this is a hardback novelisation of the film with Angelina Jolie, but it is a beautiful book. Like, I'm really liking this. I think I'll keep it. Hopefully it won't be crap, but even if it is, I think I'll keep it just because of how beautiful it is. I've got a new ring light, by the way, so I don't know if it's making much difference, but just for example, if I switch it off, you can see there is quite a bit of brightness there. So it is kind of making the close-up stuff look quite bright. So the next one I have is Mistress of All Evil. Mistress of All Evil, which is part of the Disney Villains series. This is by Serena Valentino. A Tale of the Dark Fairy. So this is going to be about Maleficent again. And the thing is with these books, I mean, the last one, there's one that's I've got here, which is Poor Unfortunate Soul by, again, Serena Valentino. I don't know if you can see that because of this ring light. It's going to take some getting used to, I think, this ring light. There we go. I mean, the size of it, it's not very long. I couldn't even get 100 pages into that. It was just absolute nonsense. I really couldn't understand it. And then there was one that I read, As Old as Time, which was about Beauty and the Beast, and I really enjoyed that actually. Like, it wasn't amazing, that's the thing. I think there's a certain amount of magic missing in these books at the moment, but then the other one that I read, I just couldn't get into it. And it was called Mother Knows Best, and it was about Mother Gothel from Tangled. And I just didn't get it. It was boring. So I'm hoping this one will be good, because I really don't want to give up on the series, because it does have, well, between this and the Twisted Tales, it does have beautiful covers, as you can see. And then these ones tend to have really nice covers as well, because you've got Ursula on the front and then Vanessa on the other side. I just hope they either find a different author or someone gets some magic about it, because at the moment I'm not feeling it. The other one, which I've put aside for just now, because I haven't seen the film in ages, is Reflection, which is obviously based on the Milan tale. This is an example of the Twisted Tales. Cover art is beautiful, but I haven't seen that film in ages, so I'd rather see the film first and then get around to reading that. And then next up I've got Insanity by Cameron Jace. Now, one of my friends got this for Christmas maybe a year or so ago, because I was really attracted to them by the covers. Like, the covers are so amazing. But I read one that was about Alice in Wonderland. I think this one is about Alice in Wonderland as well, and it just wasn't good. So I'm hoping these will be better, because I've got this one and another one coming up. They seem to be self-published, like they've kind of got that large format paperback self-published look about them, if you know what I mean. Sounds quite good, but I think there's a whole series as well, like there definitely was with this other Alice in Wonderland book, but it just didn't have that intrigue about it. It didn't have that, there was no grab there was nothing to want to keep me reading, you know? It was so weird. And then after that one we've got Snow White Sorrow, The Grimm Diaries, again by Cameron Jace. Same kind of self-published look about it. So that sounds kind of interesting. I don't know, even the text looks self-published. I don't know what it is about self-published books. They just have a look about them, you know? Next one I have is The Memorist by MJ Rose. I've read another one of this author's books before, which was The Reincarnationist, and I got this one as well. I'm not sure. I thought Reincarnationist was good at the time, but now I can't remember anything about it really. I think it's been a few years since I read The Reincarnationist though. It looks like it was from Borders Books at some point. But yeah, so I got that one. It's a bit tatty, it was bought used. You can see on the spine there, it's had a couple of creases. But it's got nice cover art, and I do like the kind of, there's a lot of music influences and almost perfume influences as well. I've got a couple of other, I've never noticed that before. Don't Miss Past Life, the new television series. Oh, interesting. Might have to look that one up. And then next up we have Finale by Becca Fitzpatrick, which is the last in the series of the Hush Hush books. Now I'll probably have to go back and read those because I haven't read them in quite some time. But I'll definitely go back and reread those again, because there they are. Got Hush Hush, Crescendo and Silence. So I'll need to make sure I have all of those. I remember liking them, but I don't remember them now. I've actually just been to check my bookcase and I looked up Fitzpatrick, which is on the top shelf amongst the F's, obviously, and I only had Hush Hush, and I was like, where are the others? And I have the other couple in hardback, so they're down on the bottom shelf, so I'll need to remember that before I go and repurchase them. So next up I have one of these kind of books that I've probably bought as a set. So I've got Airs and Graces by Erica James. I thought these sounded quite good. I've got another one coming up here, and I think I've got another couple dotted about as well. I mean, they're quite easy books. They're not anything that make you think. So if you've had a couple of like difficult books, or you've been reading quite dense books or something like that, and you're into these kind of ones, then you just really need to read these. I find that the same with Lynn Andrews as well. I've got another one of her books coming up. They're just easy to read. Can zip through them in no time. I think I've got that one as well, Tell It to the Skies, somewhere. But I've never read her before, or at least I don't think so. I don't think I've read anything by Erica James before. And then on a similar vein, we've got The Doorstep Child by Annie Murray. Again, a very similar author, just easy to read, kind of set in the early 20th century. Another easy read. It's quite a thick book, like there's a lot of reading, and I always find with these books sometimes it takes a little while to get into the characters. I'll just switch off the ring light whenever I've got a shiny cover book. This is The Tragedy of, okay, so I think it's Kitty Hawke and The Tragedy of the RMS Titanic. What a weird way of laying out that title, don't you think? So it goes Kitty Hawke and The Tragedy of the RMS Titanic. I'm sure I had to get this one from the US because I just couldn't get it for a decent price in the UK. But again, self-published, as you can see. Now, I haven't read any of the other Kitty Hawke books. I only got this because, obviously, Titanic. So I hope that it's not going to be that you would have needed to read the rest in the series. Much like the earlier books in the series, Kitty Hawke and the Tragedy of the RMS Titanic is a perfect book to fire the imaginations of armchair detectives of all ages. Filled with fascinating and highly Googleable locations. Googleable? Is that a word? So that looks quite good. The writing's standards. I don't like this though, when they just kind of, I mean, the formatting could be better with that kind of thing, because there's a lot, I find that with self-published books, like, it just frustrates me when I see that kind of thing, because that looks much better. It's got little photos on it as well. But when it's just like a couple of lines at the top, it gets quite annoying. For me anyway, I don't know if anyone else feels like that. But I'm hoping that one will be good, because it did take quite a while to get here from like the US, and I just wish it had been more readily available in the UK, you know, it's one of those weird ones. I've got After. So we've got various stories here. We've got 19 stories of Apocalypse and Dystopia, and I do like that cover. It's kind of like those mammoth books, isn't it, a little bit, with a number of short stories. I thought this would be quite good because it will maybe introduce me to new authors. I recognise Jane Yolen. Gregory Maguire is wicked, I think. I didn't like that book though. And Beth Revis, I recognise her name from somewhere, but I'm not sure where. So this should be good. I mean, I like it because it'll be introductions to new authors hopefully, and they don't seem like very long books either. So there's the, maybe about 10 to 20 pages or so, thereabouts. So next up is a book from the works, as you can tell. This is The Boleyn Women by Elizabeth Norton. Yet another book about the Boleyn women that I own. I think I know all about them by now. It's when you're watching like Pointless or The Chase or something like that we have here in the UK, although I think there's a US version of The Chase as well. It's when Tudor questions come up and I'm sitting there shouting at the TV and they're going, I don't read books. So it's got a really nice stained glass picture painting there at the top. I think this one will be quite good because it goes on to the generation after the kind of Henry VIII. I mean, I know some bits about Elizabeth I, but I think I'm more, thanks to Alison Weir and Philippa Gregory, I'm more like Elizabeth and Anne and the Tudors and Henry VIII. And then I got this book, The Book of You. Now this is from a shop that was in St James's Centre before it closed down, Books for Less. It was a really good shop, like it had so many books. You could be in there just shoving people out your way and going around the books. But they had a really good selection and really good prices actually. I kind of miss it, and I kind of miss St James's Centre as well in Edinburgh. God, instead of seeing me, all you can see is the ring light now. This sounds quite good. It's kind of one of those thriller mystery books, and then it'll have that kind of twist at the end where everything you thought about the book isn't actually the case. And then we have the Dynamite Room by Jace and Hewitt. Really lovely cover again. I really like the effect of like the kind of burnt photograph. You can see there, same effect on the back there, but gas mask kind of thing, I suppose. Readers who loved The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas will have a strong affinity with the Dynamite Room. Okay. I'm sure I read that girl reading. Sounds familiar. This is actually a book I don't remember buying. Sounds kind of intriguing, but it doesn't sound familiar, like in a way I don't remember buying it. Then we've got From Liverpool with Love by Lynn Andrews. Another like easy read. I might need that after the Dynamite Room, I don't know yet. I mean, the thing is with Lynn Andrews, they're very almost familiar books. They're very much similar periods, similar stories. They always have a happy ending. Well, there's a couple of the early ones I remember almost crying over. I was like, what the hell is she doing? It was my mum that started me off on Lynn Andrews, and I'm sure I've told this story before, but gradually all the Lynn Andrews books made their way into my bookcase. And then we've got Obsession in Death by J.D. Robb. Curious corpses, tangled twists, and one sizzling sleuth. Quite an interesting cover art there. Again, what are we up to? Book 45, 47, something like that. Wondering if this series will ever end. Like, will it end with the death of Nora Roberts, or will it continue like Virginia Andrews did for a little while? There's maybe 1 or 2 books a year that are coming out of J.D. Robb at the moment, but what I'm finding is, particularly with someone like Danielle Steele, I noticed on her Facebook page at the end of 2018 that she was saying she released 8 books in 2018 or 6? It was something along those lines, and I was like, because I buy them for my mum because she's got the full like Danielle Steele collection. How are you writing these? You cannot be writing the Danielle Steele books. Like, you must be like, what was it, Barbara Cartland? She just came up with the idea or got someone else to write it down for her. But I just find that really strange that 6 books in a year. When you think about Diana Gabaldon, for example, takes about 4 years between books for the Outlander series and has like her fans clamouring for more. Or someone like James Patterson, market is absolutely saturated with his books, and now I've noticed that he's doing a lot of books which have another author's name on it, so it's almost like James Patterson and so-and-so. And it's like, are you giving these people a stepping stone up? Are they writing the book for you and you're just putting your name to it? What's going on? Because there's too many at the moment that I just can't believe that how many Danielle Steele released in the last year. Next up, after that little rant, is A Stitch in Time by Amanda James. Nice cover art again. Sounds quite good. I mean, time travel book. I do like time travel. I'm hoping it'll be good. There was one, it was that A Wrinkle in Time book. I tried reading that. I know there's a movie out with like Reese Witherspoon, and I tried reading that book and I just couldn't get into it. I don't know what all the fuss is about. Then we have the Booby Trap and Other Bits and Boobs by Dawn O'Porter, which this was released in aid of breast cancer charities. And again, it's like quite a few people put in short stories, comic strips, scripts, essays and pictures on the subject of boobs or breasts or melons or baps. Baps. A bap is a roll. So I think that'll be quite good. I mean, again, not very long at all. And then you've got your list of authors there. Melanie C, Sarah Cox, James Dawson, Jenny Clare, Sophie Ellis Bextor, Caroline Flack, Rufus Hound, Sarah Millican, Caitlin Moran. I'm not very keen on her actually. Tried a couple of her books and I can't get into them. And Patrick Ness, I have a couple of his books coming up on the next shelf. Chris O'Dowd, which is Donna Porter's husband obviously, Dermot O'Leary, Claudia Winkleman, Guide to Breast Examination, something that's very important along with smears. Then we have a rare Titanic family, the Caldwell story of survival. I went to college with a lassie whose surname was actually Caldwell. Like, I had this book on my wish list for ages and I always thought of her, and eventually I just took the plunge. And I remember messaging her on Facebook and saying something along the lines of, do you have something you want to tell me? Your ancestors were on the Titanic. Hoping this will be good. I'm hoping it won't be too dull. Almost some of these ones can be quite dull, but there's quite a few pictures dotted throughout it. If you're a Caldwell, these might be your ancestors. And it's got a weird kind of flappy bit. So then next up we have Alex by, there is the author's name if you're interested, Pierre. I'm not even going to attempt it. I'm not sure actually why I bought this. I'm not sure if it's the book that I'm thinking of and it's translated from French as well. It might be quite good. There was a different book that I was thinking of. I'm sure there's potentially another one in the series to this. I'm not 100% sure, but it's maybe that I'm thinking of, or it's a different book. Next one is a bit of an odd one. It's a kid's book. Oh wait, that's not odd for me, is it? It's Dustbin Baby by Jacqueline Wilson. Now, there was a kind of TV feature film on this, which I really, really enjoyed actually, and it was actually quite sad. I don't know how the book will be. It's going to be interesting. I might rewatch, or my mum has it on DVD somewhere, The Dustbin Baby. So then I have another Dawn Porter book. So this was before she married Chris O'Dowd and became Dawn O'Porter. This is Diaries of an Internet Lover. What really happens when naughty girls date? Well, I'd like to know. I think this will be quite good. I think she'll have quite some funny stories to tell. So I'm looking forward to that one. I'm sure I had it before, or I want to say I've had it before, because it sounds very familiar. It sounds like a book I've read before, and then I found it on Amazon and I was like, oh, I'll buy that. I'm sure I've read it before. It might end up being very familiar. So then we have Titanic Velour, The Life of Fifth Officer Harold Lowe by Inger Scheel. So that sounds quite good as well. I mean, some of these Titanic biographies can be a little dull at times. Oh, what you find in books. A rail card, a day travel rail card, off peak, 2nd of January 2015. £15.25. London zones 1 to 6. Is that senior? Senior price? Princess Risborough. I like finding these kind of things in books. It's always interesting, or like inscriptions and stuff like that. You never really know what you're going to find when you get a used book. And then I've got Elizabeth is Missing by Emma Healy. It's one of those books that was quite hyped up quite a while ago. It was all over the place. Like, everyone was reading it, and I've kind of waited for the hype to die down a little. It does sound quite interesting, actually, with reading the blurb and reminding myself about it again. So it does sound really intriguing. And then I've got Golden Boy, Blue-Eyed Boy or Girl Next Door by Abigail Tartolin. I'm going to hazard a guess at Tartolin. Oh, S.J. Watson. I don't really think I've read anything like this before, but I do like the sound of it because it's something not many people would have experienced, like being born intersex. And it's not something I know much about at all. I think it'll be an interesting read actually, to see what the horrific incident is that happens. Then I've got a weird one for me. I've got The Remnant Population by Elizabeth Moon, which has sounds quite science fiction. So I'm not sure what it'll be, and I can't remember why I ordered it now either. The only remaining settler on an abandoned planet. See, it sounds something that's kind of a bit out of my comfort zone, I would say. There was something that appealed to me about it when Amazon used to do their recommendations properly, not the way they do it now. But when they used to do it, this came up along with the next book, and it sounded quite intriguing. And I think it was I was looking at time travel books and then stumbled into this whole... I'm going to end up liking mat covers, I can just feel it. Then I have Child of Time by Asimov and Silverberg. Yeah, Isaac Asimov. Did he not do iRobot? I've not read it, I think my dad has, but Robert Silverberg. I'm not sure how I'll get on with this. It just sounds quite odd, quite out of my comfort zone, but I'll give it a go and see what it's like. I'm just a bit about it. We're getting down to the final two books of this shelf. Second to last is I Was Here by Gail Foreman. Obviously she's done the If I Stay book, which was very popular. I have all of her books now. I do like them, but I do have a special appreciation for If I Stay. Last but not least is a weird book that I picked up, The Girl in 6E. It's Time to Meet the Killer Next Door. That sounds quite interesting actually. Oh, it's Alessandra. So that is this month's shelf. I managed to film this entire video without my battery running down. I'm quite impressed with myself. Probably shows how long it's been since I've actually filmed. As always, if you've read any of these books, or you've got any recommendations, or you want to say your ring light is not working properly, or you want to give me a recommendation about how to work my ring light or how to stop it shining on my book covers when I'm trying to show you them, you may notice that I'm switching it on and off. So it'll probably take me some time to actually get used to it. It's one of these ones that you just fit on the front of the camera, so it's not like a big thing that's behind me or anything. I didn't want to have something that I'd struggle to set up. This just fits on front of my camera and goes where I point it. It takes 6 batteries, so I mean, thank God for rechargeable batteries. But this is January's to read shelf. There's some books that I'm looking forward to, there's some books that I don't remember buying, and there's some books that I'm a bit iffy about, but we'll see how we get on. I'll do my usual, leave them down below and rate them as I read them, and you can also see any reviews I do on Amazon and my Goodreads. Those are all linked in the description box. But I will see you guys soon for another video, hopefully, once I get another one filmed and I get my voice back to normal. I'm a little bit husky at the moment. So I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy whatever you're going to be doing the rest of the day, and I hope it involves a good book. Bye!